Right then. So Diego Pacheco has just defeated Stephen Nelson via unanimous decision, 117 to 111 on all three scorecards. And yes, we got the right winner there, 100%. Diego Pacheco 100% won the fight and got more and more convincing as the fight went on. So yeah, good deserving win there from Diego Pacheco. I've seen him get quite a bit of criticism after that fight, but yeah, I think he did what he had to do. He had a difficult opponent at the end of the day. Nelson was unbeaten going into the fight. He was always going to give Pacheco problems stylistically. And yeah, there we go. Pacheco beats a good top opponent. Nelson's a good name to have on the record as well. Nelson's a good, solid game opponent. That showed in that fight. Pacheco was just too sharp for him as the fight went on. His counters were too good. He was too slick for him in the end. His footwork was good. Pacheco's volume at the end, he was able to overwhelm Nelson with his work. So, yeah, the good deserved winner there, Diego Pacheco. I mean, yes, is he the next future world champ? I actually don't know. I think he's up. I think he's really upright, and at times, especially when he went to the body, Pacheco, Nelson was able to counter him with some decent lead hooks. I feel like the jab to the body, Pacheco was very sloppy. But I think jab upstairs, it was good. It was sharp. I feel like his jab needs to be more active at times, though, Pacheco. That's the thing. And there are flaws in his game defensively, 100%. But at the end of the day, his volume's good, his power's good, his speed's good, he's good offensively minded, he thinks nicely about his attacks, he's very good at catching you when he comes in. At times, Nelson ran in at times, and Pacheco was able to mix in some good uppercuts there, and the uppercut of Pacheco was fantastic all night, to be fair, that he was landing, and he was always trying to throw it, he was always trying to time it nicely, so I think a lot of that was very, very, very good there from Diego Pacheco. But yeah, Nelson was able to bulk in some good shots over the top at times and catch Diego Pacheco off guard. And it's just because his chin's quite high in the air, Diego Pacheco. That's the thing. But he is very tall for the division. He is. But I think, yeah, Nelson at times was able to get some good success, but never fully troubled Pacheco apart from in that 12th round where I think it was clear both guys were tired. But overall, Pacheco was the better guy, being able to set a good pace throughout that fight and get his volume going, let his hands go, and he was able to hurt Stephen Nelson a lot of times in that fight and caught him off guard, really made Nelson start to think as soon as Pacheco let his hands go. And yeah, he's a difficult guy to be in there with. He was good on that back foot there, Stephen Nelson. At times, but Pacheco was also good on the back foot when he caught Nelson coming in on the front foot when he was trying to get on the inside. That's what Pacheco did. He was able to lean back at times, catch some of Nelson's shots on the gloves, and be able to get some good counters in. Sometimes in the fight, though, Nelson was able to parry Pacheco's shots and come back with a decent counter jab at times. But yeah, both guys were, getting some good success with the counters. But at the end of the day, Pacheco was sharper and cleaner with his work. And that's what was able to win in rounds, and that's what was able to win in the fight. He was landing much cleaner rounds. He was the fresher guy in there. But, Nelson being 36 showed at the end of the fight. And Pacheco's only 23. He's still got lots of time to go. And he is getting sharper and sharper as the more we see him. He's getting sharper and sharper in there with the shots that he lands and with the work that he does. He's landing some good, clean work in there. And his timing is decent when he can catch you. So, yeah, he's good offensively. He's very good offensively, Diego Pacheco. The lead hook of Pacheco throughout that fight was pretty deadly, to be fair, especially as the fight went on in those mid-rounds. The lead hook was very deadly from Pacheco, and he mixed in the uppercut as well. His inside game, Pacheco, it is very good for a long-rangey guy. It's Pacheco's inside game, which is good. To be fair, he lets you come up close to him, and Pacheco can let his hands go nicely and catch you off guard. At times as well, Pacheco does throw some decent shots in from range, but his inside game is good. And at times, Nelson got success on the inside, but Pacheco was able to catch him off guard, and Pacheco's timing was good. He's able to kind of, at times, trick you into coming in on the inside. But at the end, he's able to mix in some good inside uppercuts, catch you with a good sneaky short lead hook in there. That's what Pacheco does nicely. He is good in the pocket. For a rangy guy, 100% he is. This is how I scored the fight. We're going to go through how I scored it. So I gave round 1 to Diego Pacheco. Sorry, not round 1 to Diego Pacheco. Round 1 to Steven Nelson. Round 2 to Steven Nelson. Round 3 to Diego Pacheco. Round 4 to Steven Nelson. Round 5 to Diego Pacheco. Round 6 to Pacheco. Round 7 to Pacheco. Round 8 to Pacheco. Round 9 to Pacheco. Round 10 to Pacheco. Round 11 to Pacheco. And round 12 to Steven Nelson. That is how I scored the fight. I do think, mid to late rounds, Pacheco was very bloody solid, to be fair, and was good in the pocket with some good sneaky shots. And at range with that double jab at times, that was getting success upstairs to the body. He was getting caught with some counters. At times, though, Nelson timed the jab well and came in with his own counter jab at times. And Nelson's jab to the body was good. So, Nelson got some success. And even though Nelson lost, he did put up a good account for himself. And that is what Nelson has done in all of his fights so far. Put up a good account for himself. And that's a good positive thing. Nelson puts up a good positive account for himself in his fights. At 36, he can still get a big fight with that Pacheco fight. That is not the last straw for Steven Nelson. He can still be in a big fight, and he was by far 100% Pacheco's hardest test, because at times he was able to outsmart Diego Pacheco. But at the end of the day, though, Pacheco did always have his number, and Pacheco was able to counter him with some good shots on that inside. And timed himself much better. So, Pacheco wins the fight. Good, convincing fashion in the end, and a good, solid performance. But, there we go. Now we need to talk about what is next for Diego Pacheco. What will we see him do next? It's an interesting question, in my opinion, because obviously, Pacheco is now currently number 1 in the WBO rankings, so that's interesting. But he's 100% not ready for a title shot, and I think Eddie Hearn probably knows that as well. He's still trying to build him up. He's not ready for a title shot, and also Canelo's going to be fighting Crawford, so he's focused on that. But for Diego Pacheco, I wouldn't mind seeing him in there with Christian Mbile, but again, that is a very risky fight. I think a good fight for Pacheco to take would be an Edgar Berlanga fight, because Pacheco can win, but Berlanga can definitely win it as well. I know it wouldn't surprise me. Berlanga could definitely catch Pacheco off guard and beat him, though. That's the thing. Berlanga could be too strong for him at times, because I think it was clear to see today Steven Nelson was stronger than Pacheco at times. And in that 11th round, Nelson showed he was a stronger guy. In the 12th round, Nelson showed he was a stronger guy. Berlanga will, impose that he's the stronger man and will be able to cut off the ring nicely against Pacheco and could hurt him with Pacheco's chin high in the air. But again, though, Pacheco's volume is much different to Berlanga's, and it's much more dangerous. Pacheco's much more sharper with his work than what Berlanga is. So I think, to be fair, that's the perfect fight, Pacheco versus Berlanga, because, it could go either way. But again, though, does Eddie Hearn make that fight? But again, though, it's an easy fight to make. But is that one that Eddie Hearn makes? I don't know. I reckon it's got to happen this year, 100%. You never know. Pacheco might go in there with someone like, I don't know, who could he be stuck in there with? Like Shishkin or something like that. That's who Pacheco could go in there with. Or like William Skull, because he'd probably beat William Skull for the IBF. But again, he's only ranked number 6 there, though. And then he has that kind of fight. Then does he go for Berlanga? I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. If he does get a title shot, it could be for the IBF. But he's not fully ranked there, though. But again, anyway, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what's next for Pacheco. But again, Berlanga would be a good, fascinating fight overall. Good fight for the fans. Good matchroom main event in America. Anyway, thanks for watching. Speak to you all in the next one.